Hello, Stampers, and welcome to another episode of Make It Monday with me, your host, Laura Buechler of Inkyfingers Papercrafting. We are going to make such a beautiful card together today with one of my favorite suites from the new catalog, the Scenic Coast suite. I think it is just stunning. And if you are like me, if you live anywhere near the ocean, especially here on our beautiful West Coast, you're going to love this suite too. Let's get jumping in and get started here because I can't wait to show you this. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, yes, I've got to do my motto. I've got to tell you, as I do every Monday, that creativity is fun, creativity is good for us, and creativity is for everyone. And I want everyone to enjoy creating this beautiful card with me. All right, let me show you how it works. First of all, I have got a card base that I've already scored in 3 different places. I'll be sharing the measurements for that as a tutorial in my tutorial store. I have got a piece of white paper, and I've got 3 pieces of gorgeous grape cardstock, and those are going to be the mats for my designer series paper. Now, I just want to take a moment to show you this incredibly stunning, do you see that shimmer? That is iridescent foil on this paper. So let me show you the different designs of this Scenic Coast Specialty Designer Series paper, because every one of them is just absolutely gorgeous, right? Some of them are very calm. Some of them, like this one, are a lot more dramatic, but they're all beautiful, and there are so many rich, gorgeous colors. Those are all the different designs, but you get a pack of 48 sheets. And here is what the back sides of these sheets look like. Continuing with the bold, dramatic colors, right? Okay, so I have cut to 4 inches tall this beautiful piece of the designer series paper, and I'm going to do a tricky little thing that will basically create this scene on my card. So I'm going to start by cutting at 1 inch. Okay. And then I'm going to cut at 1 7/8. And I'm going to do that twice. Okay, and this little piece I will not need for this project. I can put it aside for something else. But what this has allowed me to do is now I have these 3 pieces that all match up together, right, to make the scene, and this is how they're going to be displayed on the card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mount all of these onto my cardstock mats, my beautiful contrasting colors. Did you know when you order designer series paper from Stampin' Up, you can see on the website the full list of the colors that it coordinates with. So in this case, I'm using Gorgeous Grape and Balmy Blue as my card base. There are lots of other colors that coordinate with these papers. Let me see if I can remember some of them. Highland Heather is one of them. Strawberry Slush is where you get this gorgeous pink in the sky. Crushed Curry, that would be the color of our sun. There's a couple other colors. Blueberry Bushel. And I can't remember the rest of them, but they're all there on the website. Hey, Suzanne, thanks for joining in. All right, I'm going to burnish the score lines on my card base here. So this is a book binding gatefold card, and I was inspired by another project that I saw online. I don't remember the name of the designer, but I thought it was so cool. I've seen lots of gatefold cards, and I've seen lots of bookbinding cards, but I've never seen them combined, and I think it's such a cool idea. Before I put anything attached to my card here, I want to stamp on my basic white inside piece. And gosh, since I have a beautiful virtual class featuring this stunning bundle and suite that we're using today, I want to bring that to your attention. If you would like to learn how to make 16 amazing cards with this bundle, look no further than inkyfingers.ca on demand, and you will find a virtual class featuring this bundle. And I got to tell you, I've been participating in, we used to call it the bundle of the month collaboration. Now we're calling it the creative card collection collaboration. And I've been participating in it since it began just between a year and a half ago. And never in all that time have I seen projects so gorgeous as the ones that are featured in this month's virtual class. So if you sign up for the virtual class, what you will receive is a PDF with all the measurements and photos, and then a link with each tutorial. There are 16 tutorials in total. There's a link to a video, and the videos are no more than 5 minutes long and walk you through every single project, just like I'm doing now. But this is not the project that's in that bundle because, of course, I wouldn't be sharing that project except with the people who purchase the tutorial bundle, or the virtual class, I should say. And the wonderful thing about a virtual class is that you can do it at your own convenience. You can do one at a time. You can do all of them at once. You could do one a day for the next 16 days. You could do multiples of any cards that you like, and you could totally skip the cards that you don't like, right? You can pause and rewind and slow down and speed up, all from the comfort of your own craft room, and you never lose access to that content. It is yours for keeps. Okay, so there we go with our stunning sunset. I mean, do you think it's a sunset or a sunrise scene on our card? It could be either way, right? Okay, my next step is I want to get my Terran tape, and I'm going to add some ribbon to this section. This is going to be the bookbinding section of our card. So I'm going to take a few different steps here. First of all, I know from experience that bookbinding panels are trickier than you might think to get them to stick. So more adhesive instead of less is the name of the game when it comes to your bookbinding panel. So I've got 2 strips of Terran tape here, and I'm going to add adhesive for the ribbon. I've got a beautiful white ribbon here to add. You can't go wrong with white ribbon, right? It goes with everything. And that's just going to wrap around like so. I grab my scissors and cut that off. And probably cut that way too long, but that's not a problem. Better too long than too short. I was taught years ago that if you rub your bone folder over the back of the Terran tape like that, it warms up the adhesive and increases the effectiveness. I don't know if that's really true, but it sure can't hurt, right? I'm going to give that a really good press down to get the Terran tape to stick. And now that has created what we call a bookbinding fold. Okay, this panel here is not moving. It is taped to the back of the card. And I'm going to take another little bit of ribbon here and just tie that in a knot at the front. And because I'm tying it separate from the piece that's wrapped around, I can move that wherever I want it to be. I think I'm going to put it up here on the stunning dramatic sky. Okay, and then we've got this beautiful stamp, wishing you a lifetime of joy. I'll give you a glance at the Scenic Coast bundle here. These are the stamps that come in the stamp set. They're all photopolymer stamps. And then these are the dies. There's a fabulous collection of dies. Look at all these little seashells and sailboats, and these 3, gosh, I know I keep using the word dramatic, but they really are dramatic. Really, really have a great, struggling to find a word other than dramatic. They have a great focal point effect. These 3 pieces. And then we've got a net, we've got some a cloud, some birds, all kinds of great stuff. So we're going to use just a couple of those today. to decorate the front of our card. All right, let's tidy up. I've got tools everywhere now. So typical of me. All right, so we've already created something super gorgeous just with our DSP. Now I want to add that focal point, add a sentiment. I'm going to stamp Happy Retirement. The sentiments, by the way, did you get a glance? Striking. Striking's a perfect word, Suzanne. Very good. Did you get a glance at the fabulous collection of sentiments that comes with this stamp set? These are all so fantastic for the going with the imagery, going with the coastal, watery sailboat, congratulations, retirement, anniversary. These are milestone moments that we want to really celebrate together. So I'm doing Happy Retirement. I'm doing that in black ink. And you can see that I already went and snipped the edge here. It makes it easier. If you know that you want to do that little snipped edges on your sentiment, go ahead and snip one of them before you stamp, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to try to leave space on your sentiment. Let me show you what I mean, actually. If I were to stamp Happy Retirement here on my cardstock without having that edge cut, and then I go, okay, let's cut it now. Now what happens is I'm cutting off, part of the H, or I'm doing it way too narrow and it doesn't nicely match the other side. So if you cut one of those edges first, it ends up looking a lot better. There you go. There's a little tip. Guess how I learned it? By doing it the hard way. And I'll always share with you what I learn when I do it the hard way. And then you can hopefully do it the easy way. Okay, there's our gorgeous sentiment. Let's do some die cutting. Let's get my beautiful little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Where there's a will, there's a way. And we are going to cut this sailboat. Now it's going to cut out a whole, it creates a negative image is what it actually does, which for the purposes of this particular project is not what we need, but it doesn't cause a problem. See how you could put this entire thing on your project and it would you'd have a little see-through where that negative image, that negative space is created. But instead, I'm actually going to cut this sailboat apart from the rest of the die. And we're just going to use the little sailboat on our card. There we go. I also want to put on some beautiful birds. And for the beautiful birds, oops, I'm going to use this piece. And I'm just going to find a little teensy piece of adhesive sheet. I love my adhesive sheet. And I'm going to put this on the back of the cardstock and create a sticker. The only trouble with using small pieces of adhesive sheet, which I love to do because I want to use up every little piece I have. And also, most of the time, if you need to use adhesive sheet, it's because what you're cutting is small, right? There we go. So a small piece will work just fine. But what ends up happening is that it's really hard to, oh, I see I'm going to have a problem with that. That's okay. It's really hard to get the little spots where the backing peels off because those spots, those strips, they happen every, what is that? Every 2 inches. So if you're just using a little piece, you're not going to have any of those splits, right? And then you see me having a little struggle with how to get that backing off. But hey, I persevered. All right. Let's get our little birds ready to fly. They're going on here. And we're going to put this on. So Suzanne, what kind of crafting have you been doing lately? I know that you craft every single day pretty much, right? What kind of cards have you been making? Love to hear about it. And have you used this suite that I'm using today? If so, tell me what you think about it. It was certainly one that grabbed my attention right away when I got the beautiful new catalog. And I ordered it right away. I ordered the embellishments and the specialty paper and the bundle. I did not order, there's another part of the suite, some other kind of specialty paper that I did not order. And I've already ordered a second pack of the paper because I love it that much. Okay, there's a couple little extra bits in this die cut sailboat that I'm going to poke out because we don't need them. If anybody watching us today knows what the different parts of the sailboat are called, please feel free to chime in. I certainly don't. I don't think I've ever been on a sailboat in my life, which is, I guess, a little bit surprising given that I've lived my entire life here on the West Coast. Okay, so we've got our sentiment, we've got our birds, we've got our sailboat. Now we just need to decorate our card. I'm going to get some full-size dimensionals and some little mini dimensional bits. And I'm going to start with my sentiment. Now, I want to put this on with one dimensional. It would be tempting, wouldn't it, to put two dimensionals on? But if we did that, we would hold our card closed. So instead, we're just going to put one dimensional on, and it's just going to go like so. Happy retirement. Not use that suite. You're working on birthday and Christmas. Birthday and Christmas. I mean, those are the ones that we could just work on constantly, right? We always need birthday cards. And Christmas is always just around the corner, or so it seems, right? There are some new online exclusives coming out just in a few days, I guess, from Stampin' Up that have some Christmas themes. There's a Christmas bundle, there's some Christmas paper. So yeah, it's already time to start looking forward and planning for that time of year. If you're a crafter, Christmas project planning is always, somewhere in the back of your mind. Okay, there's our beautiful sailboat. And now we're going to put on our birds. So see how they've all got adhesive paper on the back now to turn them into stickers. So I'm going to peel that backing off. Now here's another thing that I learned the hard way, trademark the hard way, is that we've got 3 birds and 2 of them are quite large and then 1 of them is small. And you have to pay attention to where you're putting them because a small bird, of course, should be way off in the distance and it should probably be up high on your card because it's way off in the distance. Whereas the large birds could be lower down and more towards the bottom of your card because they're in the foreground. These are things that I don't know instinctually. I never learned them in school because I'm no kind of an artist. But I learned them because on one project I put the small bird towards the bottom and then the bigger birds towards the top, and it was like, oh, that does not look right. The big birds need to be in the foreground because they are closer to us. Whoops, that bird really wants to fly. There we go. So that looks pretty reasonable, I feel. And finally, our final touch, we're going to add some of these gorgeous sequins. As if this card doesn't have enough sparkle. These are called the Sunset Sparkle Sequins, and they're gorgeous. Of course they are. I want to add my sequins right around the sailboat. Yeah, I'm going to put one right there. And then I'm going to get one of these and I'm going to put it right here. So we've kind of got the 3 sequins circling the boat. Okay, and there's our card. What do you think? I love this suite. I can't wait to make a whole stack more of these cards with all kinds of different sentiments. This paper is stunning. The bundle's fantastic. If you also are feeling inspired, look, can I put that right there? Yeah, I can, to hold that closed a little bit. Just keeps wanting to pop open. If you are feeling inspired and excited about this bundle and this suite, go ahead, head over to inkyfingers.ca/on-demand and check out the virtual class. You get 16 project tutorials with walking through step-by-step videos, all for just $41 Canadian. It's an amazing deal. You're going to have so much fun crafting with your own supplies in your own space at whatever time is convenient for you, whether that's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like it is just about here now, or 2 o'clock in the morning, because some people like to craft then. All right, that is it for me this week. I will see you back here next Monday for another amazing project. Get your inspiration flowing. If you, sorry, lost my train of thought. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next week too. And I hope that you'll find some time this week to be creative, whether that's with paper crafting or gardening or any other thing that your heart desires. And if you're looking for supplies or inspiration or how-to ideas, go ahead and check out my website, inkyfingers.ca. And I hope you'll have a great day and happy stamping. Bye-bye.